Good morning, students. Today we'll discuss about this file processing system. So what is the file processing system? So in the initial days of computers, the data stored in the form of files. So where instead of storing in the records or papers and putting on a files, so instead of that the information will be stored in the form of files and stored in the folders, which is separated with the commas and all things, tab buttons or semicolon and other symbol they use to separate one column to another column. Then file used only related information on each file named properly, but having some problems. What is the whenever you are working with this one, what is that suppose if you take it as a student information, they need to maintain this different type of information in a different type of files, but we can't maintain any relationship that one. So as per this example, all the files were grouped based on their categories. File used to have only related informations and each file is named properly. Okay, as we can see in the above sample, file has a student information. Student files each class were bundled inside different folders to identify it quickly. So suppose student, this is belonging to student means student contains what? Student information, student marks, student fees, student class, student uh, etc will be there. Okay, so these all the information will be there in this one. So like that we have to specify the clear details and stored in a folder. So by using this one we are having the different about the problems. What are the problems? Those are called as what? Disadvantages of file processing system. The file processing system is good when there is only limited number of files and data is very less. But if it is somewhat grow, the data will need to increase. Okay. So the first problem is what? Data mapping and access. So what is the data mapping and access? Right. So there is no mapping between two files. That means there is no relation between one file to another file. We can't maintain any type of relation. That is called as what? Data mapping. So even it is the files contain the related information. Suppose I said as a student information, student marks. Both are related files, but we can't make any relation. That is called as what? Mapping. So that is any two dependent files are not linked, even though student file and student report files are related. Both are related, but we can't make any mapping between these two files. So that is called as what? Data mapping is the main disadvantage. And also we can't access the information from two files, right? So that's the first disadvantage. And the next disadvantage is what? Data redundancy. Nothing but what? The duplication of the data. The duplication of data. So what is the duplication of data? Suppose if you take as a student, suppose if faculty table is there. So the student table contains the faculty. Now say one faculty is going to take nearly 5 classes. Means the faculty information need to available. The same information should be followed for the 5 files, because 5 files, separate files we are maintaining. So 5 informations. That means what? More redundancy will be there. So that is the data redundancy. There are no methods to validate the insertion of duplicate data in file system. Any user can enter any data. File system does not validate for the kind of data being entered, nor does it validate the previous existence of the same data in the same file. So we can't validate the information which is already entered. Okay, so that's the problem will be there. So again, the file system does not validate the process, hence the process of storing the data is lost. So the file name says student file. There is a chance of entering staff information or his report information in the file. So because there is no validation, that's why the data will be duplicated. Next one is what? Data dependence. What is the data dependence? The data will be available in the specific format. So which is correct also we don't know, right? So data which is here stored in the files, that which is correct, which is not correct, so that we can't find out. That is the data dependence, because the data which is stored in the files, which will be separated with a comma or semicolon or space or tab button like that. So at the time, if there is any mismatch is there, then we can't get the accurate information. So suppose check it what they wrote. So but there would be many programs dependent on these files. We need to know in advance all the programs which are using this file and change in the entire place. Missing to change in any one place will fail whole application. Okay. So data dependence. Suppose one faculty mobile number need to modify. Then the way the faculty data will available in all the areas we need to update. So once we fail in one area, then automatically we'll get the strange results. So that is the data dependence. Then data inconsistency. Right. So what is the data inconsistent? There was a change request for any particular student. Suppose any changes occur, we can't modify. So then automatically the data stay in the inconsistency state. Means not accurate information. Not accurate information. Suppose example, if you take it as a file processing system, suppose take it as a fee structure. Now you have entered the amount of some 50,000 or something. Okay. So in all the areas where is the data, what is that in a current period, fee payment, previous, existence, and all the areas we need to update that information. Suppose you fail in one area, then automatically what you will get, if you check your balance, automatically the 50,000 or the amount what you paid is won't get. So that type of the problem is called as what? Data inconsistency. The next one is what? Data isolation. What is the data isolation? So then getting the reports is not an easy, because the data is not in the correct manner. Then automatically you will get the problem of called as isolation. So what is the isolation? What is the given? Suppose check it once. Imagine we have to generate a single report of student who is studying in a particular class, his study report, his library books details, and hostel information. All these informations are stored in different files. How do we get these details in one report? So that is not be possible, because we can, there is no link between one file to another file. So the data cannot be get. So that's the problem is called as what? Data isolation. Okay. Then security. Why? Because already we discussed what is that, anyone can change, anyone can modify, anyone can enter the information. Then there is no security for the files. Each file can be password protected, but what if you have to give access to only few records to the file? It's not be possible. If I know the password, I can enter, I can do the modification. So that's the problem will be there by using security. The next one is what? Integrity. So what is the integrity? If we need to check for certain insertion criteria while entering the data into file, it is not possible directly. We can do it writing programs, right? By writing the programs only we can enter the information. Suppose you have to restrict the students above age 18, then it is by means of program alone. There is no direct checking facility in the file system. We have to write only with the files only. If you are, even if you are entering the data into the file also, it is not be possible to check directly. It is possible only with programs only. That is called as what? Data integrity. The next one is what? Atomicity. What is the atomicity? So there is any failure in insertion, update, delete in the file system, there is no mechanism to switch back to the previous state, right? So if any in the middle of while entering the data, in the middle any problem has been occurred, it may be hardware, it may be software, it may be power fluctuations or whatever it may be, the system crash, then it won't go to the previous back position. So automatically it won't go. So that is called as what? Atomicity, right? So here the note like this. What is that? Imagine marks of for one particular subject needs to be entered into the report file, and then total needs to be calculated. But after entering the new marks, the file is closed without saving. That means whole of the required transaction is not performed. Only the totaling marks calculated is wrong in this case. The atomicity refers to completion of whole transaction is not completing if it is completing it at all, right? So atom is not performing the action. Why? Because if there is any crash is occur, the data will not be stored, right? So that is called as what? Atomicity. Next one is what? Concurrent access. What is the concurrent access? Accessing the same data from the same file is called concurrent access. Accessing the same data from the same file. In the file system, concurrent access leads to incorrect data. For example, student wants to borrow a book from the library. He searches for the book in the library file and sees that only one copy is available. At the same time, another student also wants to borrow the same book and checks that one copy is available. For student opt for or borrow and gets the book, but it is still not updated to zero copy in the file. So that is the problem. But that if you, even if you are updating also, that updation will not be done perfectly. Then that is called as what? Concurrent access. Getting the wrong outputs. That is called as what? Concurrent access. So these are the different type of disadvantages by using file processing system. What are the disadvantages are there? Data mapping and access, data redundancy, data dependence, data inconsistency, data isolation, security, integrity, atomicity, and concurrent access. Right? So these are the different types of disadvantages of file processing system. The same thing if you convert the same points whatever we discussed right now, these are the advantages of DBMS. So that we'll see in the next video. Thank you.